Poof, poof, poof.
We are recording.
Okay, then.
How are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Good. Have you stopped worrying and loved the bomb?
I really thought that was a very strange
title.
Well, I mean, the fact that they separated it. Why he's called Dr. Strangelove instead of Strange Glove? Because he had a strange glove on his hand. Like, are they doing that on purpose?
Sure, I don't know. It's a weird title. I think it goes down as being the most almost annoying title, because it's like, just call it Dr. Strangelove. That we'll be happy. So we're talking about Dr. Strangelove, or How I Stopped Worrying and Loved the Bomb.
Learn to love the bomb.
Learn to love the bomb. Yes. So it's our first of 1960s movies.
Not Learn to Love the Bomb. Just looking at Worrying and Love the Bomb. You were right first.
Okay.
How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. So it's a Kubrick movie. Why'd you pick it?
Because it's an iconic 60s film. Thought I'd start off one of those. It's a comedy and a sort of almost science fiction. Kubrick is sort of known for those. And I was very disappointed in the physics and the airplane videos. You see a model of an airplane doing this, and it's turning by going like this in the air. An airplane doesn't turn like that. Airplane turns like this.
At least in one of them, you could see a shadow. Like, they actually put the shadow on the snow, and I was impressed by that.
They just showed that for a second to pretend they had something. It was poorly done from that, especially since he did 1999 a few years later. And that was epic in terms of the photography and stuff. And even the physics of it. You don't drop a bomb from 1,000 feet up and expect to live. And yet they can live through that bomb. Well, it's detonated on the ground. One is you don't detonate an atomic weapon on the ground. You do it above the ground. That's how you get the maximum impact. In the ground, most of it just goes into trying to move the earth. So you like when Hiroshima and Nagasaki went off, they went off like, I don't know, 3,000 feet above the ground.
Now, wasn't it supposed to be a hydrogen bomb? They were talking about hydrogen bombs.
Right.
And that's not the same as nuclear, is it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were two separate things.
No, neutron bomb is a very different thing.
Oh, okay.
The neutron bomb leaves all the buildings standing and kills all the people. And a hydrogen bomb is just a bigger version of the nuclear weapons that we know about.
Yeah. So it's an iconic movie. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm glad to watch it. It's like I'm trying to read, Anna Karenina, and I'm hating it, but it's a classic thing, so I'm trying to read it because maybe it'll be good for me to say I've read it. But yeah, it was good to watch it. Happy enough that I did.
I saw quite a few parallels with the conspiracy theories of today, and I mean even the fluoridation
of the water. Yeah,
still sort of one, but it was the same kind of. And he's just going, oh no, it's nothing. And the guy's going, no, for sure it is. I know it because I had he had a really low, and then it came to him, and so he's sure it was right. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going, that's a little poor logic to determine the whole Western world on that.
But they're crazy anyways. That's the thing that, they're crazy, a bunch of them. So I really liked Peter Sellers doing the parts. But the thing is that I knew the first part, and I saw the second part. And I completely glossed over that he was also the president. Yeah. Like I didn't even see that it was him. I was like, I'm going back, and it's like, oh, the dude is acting.
Yeah. And I even saw him like at times that had a camera back, and he'd be like looking and confused, but not overacting. Just like I saw him moving his head a little bit. That's exactly what you should be doing. Yeah. The first time I saw this movie, I don't know, 25 years ago or something, I didn't know he was the president either. I had no idea.
So he's brilliant acting. Let me see. One of the things, if you love this movie and you think it's the best movie in the world and you like to memorize parts of it and all that stuff, this is the absolute best movie for passwords for your computer or whatever. They have the OPE and the YGT360 and the NXBX108 and the CRN1014. And it's like, there's so many of them. There's just so many of them. And it's like, if you're one of those, nuts about this, you'll memorize them. And it's like, well, that's computer passwords if I've ever heard them.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they were looking for a 3-letter combination, so there's 17,000 combinations, something like that. 26 times 26 times 26, whatever that ends up being. I'm guessing it's that number. And we look now and we go, that's not even a good way of representing a keyword or a code. It's so lame. It's like the grade school kids would break that kind of, like from a computer point of view. I mean, I guess they had to send out, that's why they said it will take 2 days to do it. So we have to send out the code fail, send out the code fail. Problem is, and almost everybody says this, when they say it takes 2 days before it's going to fail, that's if you did them all and you got the last one on the last try.
Yeah, and you might get it on the first one.
And you might get it on, you would say the 50% one is we should take a day to do this. That's what it should take. Could take it 2 days, but you'd never say it will take 2 days.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense when cracking a code.
Right. Well, yeah, there's certain gimmicks, like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the bomb goes off. It never, they never stop it at, 3 hours beforehand. It's always, the last couple seconds.
Yeah, no. I thought you were going to something else. Kathy Wood, her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you ever want to accomplish something, like say getting out of bed in the morning, let's say it's hard. You're lying in bed and you're going, 2 more minutes. Start counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at 1, you will move your ass and get out of bed. It's the weirdest freaking thing. It's because of things like rocket launches.
That program.
They were countdowns and you can't stop at 1. You know what I mean? Like in the rocket launch, they go, how's egress? How's radio? How's rocket engines? And they keep going all the way through the countdown. How's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going. There's no hold it. At about probably 10 seconds, you can't even hold it anymore. You know what I mean? There's too many things happening and disconnects happening. So there's a thing in our brains that when we count down, we know we have to do the thing we need to do. It's say it's cold out and you don't want to go for your walk. It's freaking cold. And I don't want to walk. I go start counting down and you should walk out the door. It's phenomenal.
Well,
you're going.
I filmed another TikTok about walking, and I did another one. I've just filmed episode 3.
Okay.
And it's like, because it's so, and I mentioned you in it, so I'll have to put it up and you'll have to listen to it. So
I'll just see it on TikTok.
You will.
Wordle.
So I like how the opening scene of the movie was so melodious and pastoral and quiet and gentle, not giving you any clue of the mayhem that's going to happen. Like there's a bunch of serious wackadoodles running the show in this movie. It was like in charge of this country. And
Jack Ripper, what was his name? Jack.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, wait, is this
something Ripper? John Ripper?
Oh, I never realized that.
Jack the Ripper?
Brigadier General Jack Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I caught that right away.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And Peter Sellers playing
Mandrake, Strangelove, and the President.
It was the president's name, though.
Mumford Mifflin or something like that. Now, isn't that the same name as pretty close to the Office, the American one?
No,
something the Mifflin.
Mifflin.
Yeah, similar to that.
Yeah, I don't think that's where they got it from, but it's just his name was so almost gay, we'll say. You know what I mean? It's such a really weird, and then it gets Jack Ripper.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then there's a bunch of it reminded me a little bit of like when I not Googled it, but on Netflix, I wanted to see if it was on Netflix, and what popped up was all of the Monty Python movies.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, is this, I don't know if the correct word is satire, but it's this, play on, a serious movie. And it reminded me a little bit of Hogan's Heroes, this irreverent look at a very serious sort of topic.
Yeah, I see the Hogan's Heroes quite a good link. The Monty Python, I don't get. I mean, that's just an attempt to say this is very dark humor.
Yes.
There's no guffaw laughing moment.
No.
But it's funny in premise and in scope of how they fumbled over each other, and how George C. Scott kept thinking that there's something the matter. You know what I mean? And he can't stop from, no matter what, we've got to go after the Russians, all the way to our fear of the Russians today. And that's when we were talking about the similarities with today, with the almost flat earther aspect of this. The fact that they so hated the Russians. I remember having a discussion with Russ McCrae. This would be in 1977 or something, right? A few years before, we had the Russia-US-Canada, Russia-Canada games with Paul Henderson scoring. And he was telling me how bad the Russian kids were, who are our age. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, well, they're evil and they think how to destroy us. I go, probably less than you think of destroying them. Yeah. Like, they're just kids with the same problems, and girls want to get their ears pierced, and boys want to
tattoo,
not have the girls play soccer with them, and you know what I mean? Like, all the stuff that we go through is exactly what they go through. There's no different. And he didn't believe me. He said, no, you don't understand, Jeff. They're bad. They're bad people.
But it's funny how the Russians were the bad guys, and in the movie, and they're right now on the political stage, they're the bad guys again with Ukraine. And it's like, wow, that really never changed at all. They were good guys during the war, right? They were.
And then once the Berlin Wall fell, they're embracing capitalism, and it wasn't until Putin sort of came in that we decided to have new problems with them again. You know what I mean? Putin sort of is bringing back the old guard. But I mean, you know me, I have an argument against everything that's in the news. And I hate this whole Russia thing, jumping all over Russia for it. It's not, to me, it's not an issue. Let them take part of Ukraine if they want to take part of Ukraine. If the people vote to go there, let them go. They would vote to go there. Russia's, what's it called? What you get, your pension. The Russian pension is 3 times the Ukrainian pension. That's why all the old people who are remaining there, because Ukraine is in sort of 2 parts: the Russia side, that a lot of people speak Russian, and the sort of European side. And all the young people have left the Russian side because the economy's gone to squat, and a little bit of civil war kind of stuff going on there. And so it's all old people left, and they would join Russia in a freaking second if they had the ability to. Like, yeah. It's the fact that you're not even allowing people to do what they want to do. Those borders were drawn up by Churchill and Stalin in 1946, and they just cut it, parsed it. That's where it went. And that was the bad thing about the Crimea. The Crimea went to Ukraine, and it should have gone to Russia, because everybody there spoke Russia. Everybody was Russian there. And you know, when they say they annexed it, i.e. they came over and took it over. No, there was an election, 95% in the election, and the election was passed by all the UNs that, you know what I mean, the observers went in. They said it was a good election. 95% of the people said, we want to join Russia. Russia said, okay, we will come and take you. We'll bring you into the fold. That's all that was. That was not an attack on anybody. That was not a demand anything. So, I mean, so the big premise in this movie, maybe we should get back to that before the hour and a half is up. We haven't talked about it. That somebody calls the tells somebody high up in an Air Force base, tells their Air Force bombers that are currently continually flying around. They did that back in the late 50s and 60s, and they would refuel in the air and just keep circling Russia almost, and then have things in the air in case they were attacked and all the bombers were on the ground and you couldn't get off. So there were 24 hours a day bombers in the air, known that they could go and head off to Russia if they needed to. So this bomber wing, the commander sort of goes nuts, tells the whole bomber wing, you go off and bomb Russia. They've destroyed Washington, D.C. and a bunch of places, took all the radios away from people so they couldn't hear that the outside world was fine, sent essentially irrevocable codes to the bomber pilots to say, you're going to bomb them anyways, doesn't matter what happens. But there is a callback you can do, but only one guy knows the callback letters, the OPE or whatever you were talking about earlier. He had written them down. And then the whole world realizes that these bombers are going and the Russians are about to get blown up and it's going to be terrible. So they contact the Russians and say, no, we're not meaning this. Go ahead and shoot our bombers down. We don't want this to happen. And somebody in Russia goes, uh-oh, we built a device that
doomsday device
that will, if it sees nuclear weapons going off, that it will create incredible nuclear weapons and essentially, radioactive the whole earth. And it's a mutually self-assured destruction kind of thing. And therefore, we were going to tell you about this real soon, but we didn't tell you about it. And now it's about to happen and the whole world has a good chance of blowing up because of, but the real answer is that the truth or not? Was that just said? You know
right.
What I mean? That's where the problem comes in.
Well, we don't know what part of any of this is the truth, right? It's because it's an insane person running through the.
Well, it was all the truth until that piece.
So they really, on the survival guide for the plane, they got nylons and chocolates and stuff to take with.
I would bet absolutely that was one of the most accurate things about the movie. I would say. Now,
could be.
I don't know that they had that on B-52s because B-52s you're punching out over the water usually, if you know what I mean, if you're bailing out of the plane. But in World War II, that certainly happened to pilots and stuff. You were given stuff so you could barter your way and give people chocolates and give people cigarettes and give people stuff to try and find your way to freedom. You would have those kind of things like nylons and I don't know about condoms, but I like that. When I saw that, I went, oh, that's a good representation of what they think is important if you're alone in another country trying to make your way out of it. I think that harkened more back to World War II than what they really would have had in the early 60s.
Well, the airplane they were in looked pretty realistic, although there was a lot of dials and
inside that plane it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was, and James Earl Jones was in there. Go figure.
And Slim Pickens.
Yep.
What was it? What was that other comedian? Rip Taylor?
No.
Not that he was in here. There's another person's name similar to Slim Pickens. Oh no, the guy from Larry Sanders Show.
Don't know.
I can look it up here. Home.
But some of the one of the things that like they made a collect call, and I thought, oh, I wonder even if people like kids nowadays don't even know what a collect call is. So I was like, oh yeah, they wouldn't know that.
Rip Torn was the name I was thinking of.
Yes.
Rip Torn, Slim Pickens, like what names to have back then? You know what I mean? Like they mean such an other thing that we consider. And they remind me of each other in terms of the sort of act. They were never leading actors, but they got to play parts. And I like Slim Pickens in this. And now that scene is quite famous. It was in The Simpsons. I think there's a statue of it somewhere where somebody's riding an A-bomb down. I think there's a famous statue. Let me look that up.
Yeah, that is very iconic. That's the one thing you remember. And that's the weirdest thing. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I like how like the movie ended with, complete annihilation. It's like, okay, the world's over. And it's like, no one ever does that. Although they show it now.
They show a bunch of bombs going off. So I think they're saying in the end that thing that we wondered, mutual self-assured destruction, actually happened. He goes down, he rides the bomb down, it goes off, and then it's showing a bunch of atomic bombs going off. So I think what they're trying to say is it did do the self-assured destruction thing did happen.
I'll see. And I just finished watching another movie about the world was going to end. I can't remember the title or anything about it, except at the end of it, Meryl Streep, I think, is the president or whatever. And she's eaten by a dinosaur at the end. And it's like, oh, like I'm misplacing the end of that movie with this. It's like, it blew up and it's like, did they ever make it to the caves? No, they never did. So.
Well, and that was the thing. They were all talking about how we're going to redo this. Well, they don't have any time. Like, it's about to go off, and they knew it was, if it's going to go off, it's as bad as they said it was going to be. There is no time to even talk about it. We're screwed.
No, they had lots of good ideas, though. It's sort of like, well, let's think it out. Okay, we'll have artists and smart people, and don't worry, we'll be there. And, lots of, 10 women for every man. And I guess we won't have monogamy. Well, I guess we can't. That kind of, it's all thought out. And it's like, of all the things to be thinking about, why are you?
I mean, when you saw the German, when he played the German guy, Dr. Strangelove, he said, here's how we pick them. We pick them by their strength and virility and essentially going down the whole Mein Kampf thing, you know what I mean? And he's very Nazi-like, because he's like, he can't stop and put his hand out, or he needs to fight his hand, and he calls him Mon Fuhrer, I mean my leader, you know what I mean? Like, he can't stop from our Mr. President. So they were just trying to show how, when they brought them over from Germany, that their ideology is still hanging around. They can't get rid of it. And he smiled, because he went, "Oh no, this isn't the problem. This is done by computers." In other words, the computers will make the decision. It's out of our hands, and therefore human beings did not make this mistake, if it can be considered one in the future.
Yeah, that seems to be a bit of a theme in some of the movies from the 60s and 70s, that computers are scary. Like, I don't know if 2001 Space Odyssey, if that was a computer gone rogue kind of thing. And then there was that Star Trek, the original series. They had that episode where the computer was going to take over the ship, and then it ended up making a mistake. And then, so computers were feared back then, I think, in the 60s and 70s.
Especially when it came to artificial intelligence and thinking that they could think like human beings, and we know we're fallible, and therefore if they start thinking, they might have that fallibility kind of thing. I mean, it was an unknown, and if somebody were to have said that, imagine the most powerful computer that you could think of, to the guy in the 60s, you go, you've seen computers in buildings and banks and whatever, imagine the most powerful one you can think of. Okay, now multiply that by 1,000. Okay, now how big is that computer? Now every single person owns one of them in their pocket. You'd go, you're nuts. You're nuts. That's exactly what we have.
Someone mentioned the statistics. I don't know how accurate it is, but apparently the rocket that went to the moon, there's more computer power in your cell phone than they had to take the rocket to the moon and bring it back. So
more in your cell phone than all of NASA doing their computations for the moon. Not just in the rocket. The rocket itself was probably one
part of it,
100,000th of a phone today. Like, how many things it could compute in a second. This does 1 billion computations in a second in our pockets, and that the one on the ship probably did 1,000 a second. Instead of 1 billion, and its total memory was probably 3 kilobytes, and we've got gigabytes in our certainly by a factor of 1 million. Our phone is over the guidance rocket on the on the thing. All of NASA and what they got to do. That's what is a phone.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
One of the things I wish had done in the communication with the Russian leader, I wish they had had subtitles where they did the translations and stuff. That would have been appreciated.
I wondered too, and then I thought, well, we should be in the same position that they're in, not being able to understand them, and trying to figure out and catching the odd word that he might be saying, and trying to figure out if he's. So I thought the same thing. I go, where are the words that should be popping up about now? And
yeah.
there wasn't any. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is they used an awful lot of gum. I'm always surprised by the smoking that happens in the 60s, but the gum, everyone was chewing.
I think it was the Wrigley's gum.
I think so.
It was those long, thin things pulling them out. I bet you anything, if you look up when Wrigley's came out with the gum, it would have been that stick came out a year before or something. They just said, use that like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could certainly imagine that.
I like how they started fighting in the war room, and they were saying, no fighting in the war room. It was like, it's a war room.
And then maps of mega deaths. The book he had in his hand, something with mega deaths. I forgot what it was, but
yeah. And I liked when he made his own army attack the base where the lunatic general was. The big sign was "Peace is our profession," and it's all getting blown to bits. And it's like, ay.
At least they didn't do something crazy like see that sign being blown up.
Yeah,
shot up.
Well, the one thing is when the missile hit the bomber, and they had smoke and stuff like that, and that looked pretty realistic. And then it's all of a sudden, a couple minutes later, there's no more smoke, and it's like they didn't open a window. So it should have remained a little bit smoky in there a little longer. But
they got ventilation. You can hit fans. It must get hot in there at times. I'm sure there's ways of. I didn't think that was an issue. I thought you'd have looked at it when he said 3 of the engines have gone. You would have said, "That's ridiculous. How's that going to fly on 3 engines?" Did you think that?
No, I didn't know. I don't care enough to figure out how many engines the plane has.
It had 8 engines. They look like 4 but there's 2 in each pod. There's 4 pods hanging down so it had 8 engines. So
I didn't care enough to figure that out. I just same with any inaccuracy with the bomb, like with the bombing and with the airplanes from World War II era-ish. I don't care or know enough about them. It looked pretty realistic to me. That was close enough.
Okay, the worst part, absolute worst part was they're flying low and we're 10 miles away from the base. The bomb doors are stuck. I'm going to go get it. Clunk, clunk, clunk. He goes down. We are 9 miles away. He finally gets into there. We are 8 miles away. But wait, each one of those miles took about 40 seconds or something worth of time. That plane would have been in the ground if it was flying slow enough to do it would do a mile every maybe 4 seconds at the speed it would have to fly to stay in the air.
Okay.
And they weren't going 8 miles, 7 miles. He had from 10 miles to count that to the end, which would have been about 40 seconds. He spent about 8 minutes climbing into the bottom, banging on stuff and trying to get it going. And it was and they were showing you actually see out the front, and you'd be seeing the lakes and the trees and stuff. And he'd say 8 miles left. You'd say that, and you see them going, and you're going, wait, I just physically seen him travel about 3 miles.
Yes.
Just seen it. And he hasn't even yet said 7 miles left. A little while later, they cut somewhere else, 7 miles left. I go, you telling me you can travel?
So that's the part that bothered you.
Yeah.
The part that bothered me, although it's probably whatever, when I don't even know what the character was. I don't think it was the weird general, but it was somebody high up, and he had the girl in bed he was going to come back to. Yeah. She's laying in bed with a bikini and high-heeled shoes in bed. And it's like, who wears shoes to bed? That was why would you wear shoes? But I mean, I guess whoever, that's what they think looks good. women in high heels. So even if they're laying in a bed, put them in high heel. Okay. So you nod, I go, I don't get it.
I know you don't. You're not a man.
Okay.
Even Martin would appreciate the high heels in bed.
Okay, well, I'm going to wear some clunky
high heels. No. In the movie.
Okay.
He doesn't need you to wear high heels in bed. That's not the thing. You don't wear high heels normally. You don't put them on in bed. It's not. It's the unattainable. It's like when girls puts all that makeup on, like a ridiculous amount, and then go out dancing. None of that stuff's real. It's all like that's high heels in bed is not real at all.
Right.
That's nobody really wants that. They want to look at it though.
Yeah. So
yeah. I was pleasantly happy with the high heels in bed, and I never looked at it with judgment like you did and go, how's she gonna walk? And if it's a waterbed, what happens if she steps? And then like, no, I'm just going, that's pretty good. Oh, I like those heels. Like I couldn't stop looking at the heels in bed.
Did you know when I was watching him do Dr. Strangelove, his actions and his movements and so on, it reminded me of Robin Williams when he was on a real good role. Robin Williams would do these accents and stuff like that, and it was like he reminded me. I wonder if Robin Williams watched that.
Oh, I've seen him mimic Dr. Strangelove. I've seen him do. So I'm like, I bet you anything we can find something on YouTube with that.
No, I'm sure, because it was just like, okay, I'm sure he's done that. So Robin Williams didn't always, create something. He mimicked other people, and he made fun of things he's seen and watched.
Robin Williams on Peter Sellers' Dr. Strangelove. So he actually has. So let me call this up. And let me share. Present now a tab. There we go.
For me, the most influential actor in films was Peter Sellers, because of the Pink Panther, but mainly because of Dr. Strangelove. To see one person play that many characters and to play each one of them differently, and each one so committed, especially Dr. Strangelove himself. You've gathered together enough animals that we could slaughter. And then, that was the first time I saw people suffering from bald heads. My favorite one was having a discussion with, he's trying to get the codes, and he's basically the general saying, men drink, they want my precious bodily fluids, that's why I don't partake of women, and so I only drink pure wood grain alcohol. That's wonderful. Can I just have those codes? That'd be great, Jack. Just give those up. And it's just seeing that, and plus the fact that it's all about the end of the world. And that for me was just amazing.
Yeah, see, maybe I don't think I'd seen that before, but the fact that it was a comedy, and I don't think I laughed like out loud or even snickered at anything. Now, maybe if I was watching it with someone, I would feel differently. But maybe it depends too, the kind of mood you're in or whatever. But I never sat there and thought, that was funny. Like,
that's what dark comedy is. That's the
example
of a dark comedy is to not make you laugh, but be so overwhelmingly silly, foolish, wrong, whatever those things are. 6 Feet Under is a great example of a show that was a dark comedy. But a funeral home, and there was rarely anything funny happening, but the premises and the stuff they got into is just I have seen Robin Williams. That's why when I went to look for this, I knew I'd find him actually doing that, whether I saw this before or I saw him like on Leno, and he would just start playing Dr. Strangelove and just start acting, moving his arms and talking like him. It's my friend Mike Cameron, who does TikTok. He's the friend of mine. He does really well on TikTok. It's called Gamer Dad TV or Gamer Dad TV, yeah. And he's my age, and he does gaming and really well. And he actually used to mimic Dr. Strangelove a lot. Also, he would just do that same kind of kind of thing that Robin Williams did.
Well, I find Robin Williams talking about it very funny, but I didn't find the movie itself. I don't know. It just never struck me that way. So.
I thought some of the things were corny, like when he got the change from the Coke machine, and then it started spitting out Coke because of the bullet hole. I just went, somebody had to wire that up inside, because if some can got hit and then there's the can's inside there and it has a hole in it, it would come and spray all over here and dribble out a hole. It's not going to like come powered out of a hole. So that was sort of like, you don't need to do that. I don't like when people fake that kind of stuff when it's funny enough to have it leaking Coke. You don't have to have it like spurting in your
spraying.
face.
Yeah.
Go wiping it off. That kind of.
Yeah. So I guess one of the themes is that we're a paranoid people. And we're our own worst enemy is one of the things I kind of took away from that too.
Sexual intercourse was a huge part of this film.
Sure.
Did you not catch all the?
Yeah, bodily fluids and sure.
But even when they were in the war room and they he goes, "Oh, you're not solving the problem. You're having a wargasm." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like those kind of things would come out. A
lot of references.
The very end was the climax. You know what I mean? Like it was all the foreplay happening with the difficulties and the struggles and then the end you had the climax. Like, I mean, the whole thing was that. So like that I remember somebody had talked to Stanley Kubrick about that. Some reporter, and he was like amazed that this reporter talking to him was the first one to say, "You got all the sex stuff in it that we did." It was all essentially, I guess, coitus interruptus was mentioned at one time in it. And then obviously the guy with his girlfriend. I mean, it was a bit silly when he's in the war room. And, "Hey, okay, honey, no, I miss you. Yeah, no, okay, I'll come back. I know, of course I love you. Of course, it's not just a physical thing; it's a mental thing." And while all the generals are out, just shut up and hang up the phone.
Yeah. I actually liked this big war room and the big circle, and how there's only actually a few people interacting and the rest of them are all just kind of staring and watching and stuff. And I thought that added to it. They're all just kind of watching and there's no panicking. Like you see enough of those, war room things, the world's going to blow up, the comet's heading towards Earth, something we have to do. And yeah, it's just, it was a very different take on that kind of thing.
I mean, it really showed him, the president, to be in charge and level-headed. And I really liked when he sort of went, "Okay, so now that that's happened, what can we do?" And he goes, "We can't do anything." Of course we can do something. Stop with that. We can't do anything. It's like you're the president. Of course we'll find a way. Like, I don't like that.
Well, they didn't have much time. That they had, to call the bombers back, and everything was just on this clock without them having it. And you got to see that with the music getting more frenetic as it got closer, because it started out with just the refueling plane and the beautiful soft music at the end, kaboom. So yeah, it really played into the fear of an attack and a bomb and the bomb shelters and stuff like that of the 60s and 50s and whatever.
Yeah, I don't think you and I really went through that in our school. We didn't have the hide under your desks when the bomb goes off, that kind of stuff. We were a little bit later than that. But
I know a guy, Michael from my writing group. He's a little bit older than I am, and he remembered that, and he actually wrote a story about the trauma of having to the world might end, kind of be exposed to them as little kids, and what we never had that per se that I can recall. I mean, closest we had is if we don't score that goal, if Paul Henderson doesn't score that goal, well, the world might end. But that was when we were kids.
Well, there was a Russian guy in a commander of a submarine who got the orders to launch his nuclear missiles at the U.S. He actually got the orders, irrevocable orders, to do it, and he didn't do it. He was ready to be in. he actually got in trouble for it in the end, even though he did the right thing, because it was a mistake. The orders as they were sent to him weren't real. It was supposed to be something else, and it came through like that, and he got the orders and he didn't do it. So he was demoted when he got back, although not doing it was the right thing. Like, that's a strange thing to go, but you didn't follow the orders. And the orders would have been to end the earth, essentially. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the story. I hardly know that one. Like, I think I've heard of it, but that would be interesting.
Like Russian submarine commander stopped World War III, something like that. And then you'll see the story of him. I think he died about 5 years ago, in Russia. And he was credited with single-handedly making the decision to not have World War II happen. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, that's
World War III.
33, yeah, World War II.
Because he failed. If he didn't want World War II to happen, he will have missed.
How different the world would be if that guy didn't shoot Franz Ferdinand and start World War I. How different this world would be. That one guy, and he went to shoot him and it didn't work out. And then he went to get lunch, and then he sees him because the car broke down a little bit, and he pulls right up in front and he sees him and he goes and shoots him. And the wife, they thought they were okay. They run off to the hospital and they end up dying.
Yeah.
But that one event
really did change
everything. What happened in the Middle East was rewritten after World War I and then rewritten after World War II. All the maps of the world, somebody's got to go back and imagine that not happening, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and how that would have stayed strong and became a force, and like, oh man, the world would be a different place.
Yeah,
because there wouldn't have been a Hitler. Like, a Hitler came because of World War I, the end of it. They wanted a solution to the problems that the Versailles Treaty created, and Hitler was a strong man.
He gave it to them. That's what they wanted.
What they needed. They absolutely needed it. It was a mistake to try and rape Germany to the ground after World War I, and make them take full blame for it. Like, it's
yeah.
So yeah, like just simple things like what happened. Let's imagine World War I, and they didn't treat Germany. I mean, we learned after World War I, because World War II, Japan was, lost to America, and America came and treated them fantastically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He made that mention in the movie about remember he said he was tortured by the Japanese, him as the British guy.
Mandrake?
Yeah, and he was tortured by the Japanese, and then he goes, "Oh, evil, the terrible people." I go, "But they make damn good cameras."
yeah. That was funny. I think that was the only one I thought, oh, cheeky. I like that. Yeah.
But because he hated them because he was tortured by them.
But boy, they make good cameras.
He couldn't get over the fact that they were so good at making cameras.
Way better than we can. Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see and appreciate that. Yeah, what else? There's not much else that I thought I wanted to mention.
Well, I'm hoping that we can pull together over the next bunch of movies the whole 60s. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, variety. I was looking.
Side,
there's got to be a James Bond one in there somewhere.
Sure.
A Western, a comedy. Well, like, I found a few that I was that I kind of favorited, and we'll see if we go through a bunch of them.
When I was looking through what was available, I'm going, oh man, that's a great movie. Oh, that's a great movie. Oh my goodness, that's a great movie. I'm going, oh, this is great. I thought I was going to struggle through the 60s.
Yeah.
I got 20 I can pick.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing, that it was like, okay, 60s, I don't really like the 60s usually, or actually 70s is almost worse because it's just so campy and the music is all just bad. And most of the 70s movies, I go, they don't hold up.
I think I can like the 70s more than the 80s. I'm going to have a tough time with the 80s.
Oh, like, 80s is bad too. Like, there's just
Ghostbusters, and
there's movies that don't hold up.
Yeah.
And others that, like, okay, I mean, like Gone with the Wind, Sound of Music, Wizard of Oz. They hold up
they do.
so well. And this one, not so much. I didn't think, although it's classic. I'm glad we watched it. Happy to do that.
I mean, to me, it held up. I like the story. Like I like the trying to tell us what was in people's minds in the 60s. This is a representation of what society, of a fear in society. And
yeah. Oh, they did. Yeah. They showed how paranoid we are. They showed how on the edge and really, like, it only takes a few mistakes before some pretty bad stuff can happen if you're up there and in charge. I can't do a whole lot of damage to other than myself. But some people have.
How many atomic bombs do you think have been, and I'm not talking about part of tests, they obviously drop bombs from airplanes, put them in the ground for testing. But how many atomic bombs were dropped from airplanes that weren't tests, do you think?
Atomic bombs? Like atomic, not just bombs.
Atomic bombs. Atom bombs.
You
know of two. Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Like Pearl Harbor wasn't an atomic bomb.
No.
So I don't know of any other than the two.
I'm guessing probably about 7 have been dropped. All the others were in accidents.
Yeah. Okay. That's
that the plane has dropped. There's one that landed in like South Carolina or something in a bog, and they've never found it. Like
somebody property is going to go out shooting some gators and kaboom, annihilate.
I think one of them's ever been found. It's called A Broken Arrow. There's a movie called Broken Arrow, and it's about it's a lost atomic bomb. So I'm going to type in how many broken arrows. Adam, how many
broken arrows?
32 nuclear weapon accidents.
Wow.
Broken arrows.
Yeah, but did they come out of a plane?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think not all of them would have been that. How many broken arrows?
And same with the test sites. I mean, I remember the test site explosion when Indiana Jones hid in a refrigerator that had lead all over it, and therefore survived. I think the Crystal Skull one, or no? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what is a broken arrow? A code phrase that a ground unit is facing imminent destruction from enemy attack, and all available air forces within range are provided air support immediately. That's weird.
That's different.
What is the order broken arrow? Okay, that's a different thing. How many broken arrow incidents? Okay, the Pentagon maintains that the U.S. Has experienced 32 broken arrow accidents, including 1980 episode in Damascus, Arkansas, subject of American Experience documentary, Command and Control.
Yeah.
I think that's up there in my American Experience.
And I read that, or I heard that in the on a podcast, either Radio Lab or This American Life or something like that. I remember hearing that, talking about that.
So we lost 32. Since 1950, there have been 32 nuclear weapon accidents known as broken arrows. Broken arrows defined as unexpected event involving nuclear weapons that result in accidental launching, firing, detonation, theft, or loss of a weapon. To date, 6 nuclear weapons have been lost and never recovered.
Lost. It's just like, honey, how'd your day go? Well, I lost one of the nuclear weapons. Not even the bomb or a missile.
So much fuel on this plane after you landed. We're light about 10,000 pounds. What do you mean light 10,000 pounds?
Bomb bay doors opened up and we lost something.
I didn't even realize we were flying along. I looked down and my bomb bay doors were open.
How embarrassing is that?
It's like when you left your zipper down.
Someone should have told me you're supposed to check before you leave the bathroom.
Oh, so I was right. There were 6 that I thought there were just 6 drop bombs, but there were 6 lost bombs.
Lost.
I knew there were some where they found them. I knew like they dropped them and went back and went over, because they usually won't. I mean, not usually. They won't go off until they're triggered. You take an atomic bomb right ready to go, and you say, "I want to explode at 3,000 feet," and it will. You don't trigger it that way; it will just hit the ground, and it might spill radiation if it opens up, but it's not
right.
It's an atomic bomb.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I don't know too much about atomic bombs, thankfully. But
Why, thankfully, why are you thankful you don't know about atomic bombs?
But I don't.
Kidnapped by
I don't feel
military.
I don't feel like I need to inform myself because I'm worried or, paranoid or anything like that. It's like, okay, if I thought I needed to, like, if I needed it because I was going on Jeopardy. Have you been watching Jeopardy? Amy lost.
Did she?
It's like I was enjoying her so much. She got way up there, so that was good.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy who won is like, I can't believe it. And I knew the answer. It was Bangladesh.
What was it about? Question about
Final Jeopardy. It was about what is the English name of a country? The only country whose English name ends with an H. And it's Bangladesh. And I knew that because remember looking that up with the flags. It ends with an H. So no other country ends with an H.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe there was another caveat with it, like an island nation, middle, not Middle Eastern, maybe whatever, Asian, or maybe it said something else. I can't remember.
There might be. I'm trying to think of countries. I don't think I can't name any countries that end in an H. So yeah, I can imagine that being the only one.
Well, I know I was thinking of like African countries, and it's like, okay, I remembered a lot of countries, but it's like, which one ends in H? And then all of a sudden it came to be Bangladesh, and it's like, oh, I hope she writes that down, but she didn't. It's like, oh no, and the other guy got it. And,
So you're doing Wordle, eh?
Yes.
I got today in 5. Yesterday 3.
You know what? I Googled play old Wordle games, and some guy has put them all up. So you can go back and do them. And last night I fell down the rabbit hole, and I went and I played and played and played. And then I lost one. It was not coming to me. I've never lost one yet. And it's like, man, I have one loss on that site. So
I got one on the 3rd.
Yeah.
On the 3rd, but I got it by only having one letter in the first one, one letter in the second one, which is the same letter, and then I got it. But it was sort of easy because it was that whack, WHACK.
Yeah.
You know what a good word to start with is audio.
Okay. You know what I start with? Aside, and then youth. And that takes care of all the vowels.
But audio is
it's all except E and Y.
So if you get none, you know to put E's in it.
Yep.
And if you get your hits, you're good. So it's I can do one word and I know what I'm going for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had some fun with that. Sometimes you think, oh, this is good, and then you get one with it's like, oh, it could be shack, whack. There's a few things that it could be.
When you get something stuck in your head, that's the problem. You can't get it out anymore.
Well, and double letters. When it was robot, I'm going,
yeah, that's a tough
ROB. What T? Like there is no word because you're looking for other letters, and it was like, oh, it's another O. So double letters is tricky, but yeah, it's a nice thing. It's nice, like with Candy Crush, it's like you can kind of play that all day long. But with this one, except for if you go into the guy who's done all the past episodes or past puzzles, you play for a couple minutes and then you're done for the day, and you look forward to the next one.
I sort of don't get why he just doesn't pick up random ones for everybody, so you don't do the same one as your friends. Like,
yeah, because someone can say, "Oh, this was a hard one today." Audio was a great word, and so now everyone knows.
Yeah, or they'll, like, Tracy will tell Debbie and say something like, "Oh man, it's hard when they're double letter ones."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then now you got a huge clue that's going to be super helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm surprised at how many people who I know are, I'm on the Wordle train.
Debbie said to me something. She knew that Jennifer was doing it. I said, Anita will be doing it already. She goes, oh, you should tell her about it. She's doing it. No worry. I'm sure she got it before us.
Yeah, I think it was like at 213 or something when I started. Can't remember. So
there's a thing. This is your new test I'm going to give you. You'll like this. There's a way in, and you can just find it right on TikTok. But you can take a picture and say, I want to use this as my hand picture. And the moment you show your hand, the picture shows up in front of your hand. So you create your Wordle one, which is, if you got it in 3 one day or something like that, you'll come out and you'll go, today I got my Wordle in 3. You'll open up your hand and the screenshot that you will have taken of getting it 3 will pop up. And you go, see, and I had a tough one because that's sort of cool to be able to. I bet you there's a lot of people doing their Wordle. If you take Wordle and TikTok.
Okay, we've stopped talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should stop recording. Oh, it doesn't matter if we keep.
Yeah, nobody never listened to the end. We
should have another, what do you call a word?
If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, does it really make a sound?
Well, yeah.
Are we really talking if nobody ever listens to this?
So I put up 3 TikTok videos. And I shared the one to Facebook, which I hate doing because, for one, it only shares 26 seconds of it. So you can cut it, but I don't know. I tried cutting it and I think I cut the wrong thing. And and it goes into your story on Facebook. And so it disappears. So I want to, can you have a link on TikTok and put it somewhere?
Here's how you do that. Go to your TikTok, watch it as a viewer.
Yeah.
Download it to your phone, and then just attach it like you would a video file to Facebook.
Okay. Because I don't want to just, so download it.
So, there's choices along the right-hand side.
Yeah.
The second one from the bottom.
Is good download.
Lets you do a download. It comes up with your options. Unless you explicitly say, I do not allow downloads on my videos.
Right.
You can say that in your setup. If you haven't said that, downloads will be available. You just download it. Now it's a file in your photos. You could what's it called? Gallery. Go into your gallery, look at the video. Then you can just say send to Facebook and
attach it to because it went automatically to story, and I don't like it going to story because
you put it right in your Facebook feed.
Yeah. So that way you don't have to tell everybody follow me on TikTok. That if they're interested, they will, and if they're not, then they don't.
Yeah.
So I'll have more, 4 followers instead of.
Now you gain your social media cred. You'll be an influencer in no time.
I will be any minute now, especially with this next one, episode number 3. I filmed episode number 2 as well. So we're just rolling. I'm labeling them episodes. I had a second one with Emma that I put up, but nobody's ever seen it according to the credits.
Oh yeah, I've never seen the second one with Emma.
Well, it's up there.
Yeah,
but I don't know where. I don't know how people see it. Maybe I didn't share it somehow or whatever. But it's up on my thing. But it says 0 next to it because I didn't send it to Facebook. So because nobody knew I was on TikTok. I didn't know I was on TikTok.
Oh, I should be able to see you. Let's see here, TikTok. I don't want I do not want Invisalign. Let's go to my profile. Is that what I see following? Are you on here? No. So let's go search for Anita. Discover ANI.
Okay, I'm gonna do screen share. Present now.
Yeah. So there's your second Emma one. Oh, there's your one that said 0.
Finish the dinosaur puzzle?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see it's at 0?
Yeah, it said 0.
Okay, so yeah, you can see it then, though.
No.
So I just canceled it.
Can I take a picture of the?
So I'm following 5. I have 3 followers and three likes. Wow.
Oh, I'll like that one then. There you go. 3 followers. I've posted no videos.
And you have how many followers?
I'm gonna have follow. This now the reason I have this is because people want me to follow them, so they'll follow me, hoping I'll follow them. That's what people do, right? So
yes.
Go, oh, I see somebody follow him, and then he might follow me. So I have 301 followers.
Right.
0 liked because 0 posted. I'm following 751.
Okay, I'm following 5. I don't go on it very often, but I do like kind of you have some time and you get to go and you just swipe it away when you don't like it.
The rabbit hole, and then it learns what you like by how long you stay on things. It's
and don't stay too long on one of the pimple popping one because you get an awful lot of pimple poppers.
Yeah. And then I accidentally stay too long on one of the bikini ones.
Oh, no.
Accidentally. And then they send me more, and I might accidentally stay on too long on those. And,
all those bikinis, or as Henry calls them, bikinis.
Yeah. And hey, where's the tie into today's movie?
The girl in the bikini. Well, it wasn't a bikini.
It was.
Well, yeah, it was a little outfit. I don't know. It's pretty well. It's not a string bikini. It wasn't teeny tiny. She was covered up.
That's what they had.
Yes, yes.
What's bikini have to tie into the movie?
She was wearing one.
No. Well,
yes, she was wearing one.
But that's not the tie-in.
What's the tie-in?
The word bikini comes from what?
I don't know.
Bikini Island.
Oh,
Bikini Island was blown up by the atom bomb testing.
Okay.
Bikini, so that they called it the bikini because it was a bomb event, like exploding. The bikini exploded onto the fashion stage for people to use it.
And it made a fuss because people were thinking, how outrageous is that?
That was after the bomb because of Bikini Island.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, so bikini was.
You should go on Jeopardy.
Yeah, that one I know because there were bikinis in
it. Martin and Henry went and cleaned out Mom and Dad's garage.
And
she could put the car in if she wanted to. She'd have to move the freezer a little bit, but there's room. They just cleaned it all out and got leftover tools and stuff. So
after 50 years, it's about 48 years they've lived in that house.
Yes, since when I was in grade 7. April 1st, they moved in.
You'd have been 12, I'd have been 10, and now 58. So it's 48 years. Yeah, exactly 48 years.
So they're not making it to 50 years, I don't think.
No.
In that house.
Better not. But Mom told Debbie that the house, that the apartment, 1,090 square feet is hers. Her name's on it. It's set aside for her. And she will tell her, I guess they might be doing work on it or something because they're going to tell her when it's available.
Okay.
Mom's saying, I need to know when it's available and not close to when it's available because we're selling a house. So I don't want to be homeless for a while in between. Like you could imagine them saying, look, April 1st, you can move in. And then, okay, I'm selling my house April 4th. And they turn around, they go, oh, well, we can't let you move in April 1st. We've not done the plumbing yet and the walls, and it'll be April 20th.
Yeah.
Mom would go, it's not acceptable.
No, I told her to get it ahead of time, like own 2 places.
Yeah, no, and she knows to do a month overlap wouldn't even be an issue. Yeah. Mom even said that. So it's just you want to make sure.
We're really not doing movie. Is there anything else?
I brought back Bikini Island back in, right back into the atomic bomb. I did a great job.
But we're not talking about your hemorrhoids yet or anything.
Lots of that. Background in the movie too.
No, we have other months that we can cover it. Yeah. So I haven't picked a movie yet. I'll let you know. It'll be from the 60s. So that's our goal for 2022 is to have movies from the decade that we were both born in, the 1960s, and we'll see what kind of
And we could have seen the movie before. I had seen this movie a long time ago.
Yeah.
So if you've seen it, or I've seen it, or both of us have seen it, or neither one's seen it, that's all on the table.
Yeah.
It's just we are trying to represent the 60s so we can try and understand them a little better by the end of it.
Yeah. Might want to look up, best pictures and see what was out there.
Yeah.
That was because then those would be the better ones of the 60s. Because there's going to be some real doozies that just like, wow, that's a bad movie. There's lots of bad movies are made. We just don't get to see them all that often. Hopefully.
So there's an episode of Larry Sanders. So if you go into Larry Sanders, the first season, second episode, something like that, it's called Spiders, something of that nature, and Carol Burnett's in it.
Okay.
So you'll see her in it. And it's great because they in the Larry Sanders, they sort of play themselves and a grittier version of themselves. So she's a little bit peeved off and a little bit like fake. Like she'll say, I freaking hate this, doing these kind of skits. This is not he's an idiot. It'll give anybody a show nowadays. And then he'll come out and go, do you like a sketch? No, I love it. These skits are the best thing ever. You know what I mean? But you're seeing it as her playing herself being a dweezil. It's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. I've just always enjoyed her very much. This past winter, I listened to 2 of her audiobooks, and it's like Carol Burnett is talking with me while I'm walking down the street. And it just made me feel happy. Stories I'd heard before. One of the books I already read, I own, and she even autographed. But it's like she was talking to me. Made me happy.
There's a line in Larry Sanders. So Hank is the sidekick, but he's a doofus. Nobody likes him. He thinks he's self-important and he's not. And Larry is mocking. It's all about the problems that they're having behind. It's Johnny Carson behind the scenes. Right?
Yeah.
So you get to see the problems that are happening. And then Hank is being ridiculed about something, and he's all mad at Larry. And he goes, you even laughed at me when I chipped my tooth on that urinal. and then Larry goes, it was a back tooth. I couldn't stop laughing. It was a back tooth. In other words, yeah, I get to laugh at you. You chipped a back tooth on a urinal. That is so funny.
So I have to take screenshots of you when you're laughing, because then I get to put something in my photo album.
I get like 18 chins if I'm laughing. So no, you don't need to 18 chin me.
No. What else is exciting? Got some more books.
Got like 3 more months left in it, and it'll be over. No doubt.
Yeah, would be nice.
Thrilled with that.
Yeah, looking forward to less because our COVID wave is going down now, so they'll hopefully open up a few things.
COVID's over. Been over for a year. Wow.
Tell the people who were forced to close their restaurant.
Well, I'm not saying that people can't be silly with respect to it, but it's been over for a year.
Yes.
We all knew a year ago that
the deaths did this and then this, and now
there's this British guy, Dr. I forget, and he's very measured, and every single day he comes out with 15 minutes or something, and he talks about stuff, and he goes, okay, let's look at we got the NHS in England, we got the statistics, and then there's 107 in the 1 year period, 172,000 deaths. Well, let's go look at how many people died where COVID's the only cause of death. In other words, they didn't have
anything else.
The COPD that made them breathe in, which gave them or had bad cancers or whatever, just where COVID killed you, which is what we would be fearing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
we're fearing COVID and then we die.
That's why we got vaccinated, because we were going to die from it. Right.
And so they go, actually, in that year, there were 17,000 people who died of COVID. 1/10 what they said that they put the fear into you. that where the only cause of death is COVID, where they really didn't see, where they went, that person had COVID and it really hit them hard and they died. And I forget what the number was, but I think 80% of them were over the age of 80. And so then he started doing the math, and he goes, okay, the average person in England, a man dies at 79 and a woman dies at 82. The average age of death for a male is with COVID and dies for any reason, even with the other ones, is 81 something, and a woman is 81 something. So he goes, so when you do all the math out, men are expected, because of COVID, men live 5 weeks more than they used to. In other words, COVID has created that. If we're just given the numbers, we have now COVID, and he goes, and women die 3 days earlier. Like if women have an 82-year-old lifespan, they have an 82 minus 5 day lifespan now.
Yeah.
So we're doing all this for when you extrapolate it over time for 3 days, or men increasing their life.
Yeah, or ruin everybody's business and schooling and all kinds of stuff
for really nothing, because most of those people had a good chance of dying anyways.
Yeah. Well, it certainly shows, like when you think of like the panic of the war and the bombs and stuff like that, it's like in some ways we haven't changed at all. We still, think the commies are bad, and we have all this weird stuff that we have opinions about, and it ends up being, well, not quite the thing that we're being fed. So gotta be careful who you listen to.
But as long as just realize that you're being sold fear, because that keeps your attention on the news. So they have to make it.
Yeah.
My best example in that is the humidex in the summer and the wind chill in the winter. They want the numbers to be bigger so they can say it's minus 10 out. But with wind chill, it's minus 19, just to make people go, oh, it's going to be so cold. I got to watch what's happening tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting worse. And then the same thing in the summer. They don't have wind chill in the summer, and they don't have humidex in the winter,
right?
Which would tend to go the opposite way.
But I've been walking in my driveway because we've had so much snow that the sidewalks are just. I can't find a stretch of sidewalk to walk on that's cleared. So Martin cleared in front of our house and down a bit, and so I have a good chunk. And so I've been going up and down the driveway. And I have to go up and down 200 times to get my 10 miles in. And it was stinking cold out today. It was windy in my face, and boy, it was just so cold. It was. It felt like wind chill made it worse.
To get how many miles?
10 miles. Up and down my driveway.
The whole arc?
No, because we don't have this circular driveway at the moment, because the other part hasn't been plowed out.
I get it. Okay.
So we just have this little section.
That would get you 10 miles?
Yeah, got a fair amount of feet.
Well, how many feet's that going to be? 100 feet?
Well, I had figured it out, like I did the distance thing, but they're not really accurate. It was like 177 times. But when I went up and down, it went. That did 1/10 of a mile, I think. So I had to go up and down 10 times to get the mile in. No, half a mile, whatever it was. I figured it out.
I think your numbers are wrong.
Okay, so what I say, 10 miles.
No, let's just go with feet. Like you say, that driveway is 170 feet long, you think?
No, I can't remember what it was.
I thought maybe 120.
But I thought it was 0.1 mile back and forth.
No. Wouldn't even be close. Because 0.1 mile is 520 feet.
Back and forth twice is 0.1.
That would be if one direction is about 175 feet. Yeah. No, not even more than that. So 120 feet divided by 5.280 divide 1 over. So 44 times gets you 1 mile. 44 one lengths, so 22 two lengths get you 1 mile. So 220 times will get you 10 miles.
Yeah, so 200 times. And then sometimes I go a little bit that way, and so then that, but basically.
So why don't you get a treadmill?
I have one. It doesn't work at the moment. I want to be on outside on the streets I haven't walked on yet, but.
Oh, no, I get that. I'm saying when you can't, when it's raining or you go, I just want to get my miles in kind of thing. 10 miles is a lot though, freak.
It is every week.
Freak. I did 5 miles watching this movie.
Okay.
10 miles a week.
Yeah, I have a whole week to do 10 miles.
Oh, okay. I thought you did it every day.
No, that's crazy.
I did 8 miles on the treadmill the other day, and then I did 5 miles today. That was this whole movie was I got 5 miles done just before the movie was over.
Right. No, I committed myself to 10 miles a week. Now, when it's really nice weather out there, I go out on Monday morning and I walk the whole 10 miles that day.
Yeah.
And that because I'm driving out for a half an hour, I walk and then I don't have to walk for the rest of the week. And then I'll still do like errands and stuff like that. But I don't do what's part. But this is the first week I am not doing. I promised myself or committed to or whatever that I would walk on 4 new streets every week. And that's hard to do when you're on when you're on country roads, because you're just doing part of a street. You go around the block and you haven't finished anything. And then you go around that block and you haven't finished anything. So you have to find these little places that you finish. But with the City Strides app, I have it didn't start recording my stuff until I think it was I was like 6 months in. 4 months in, I started Map My Walk. I didn't get a cell phone until after that. So there's a bunch of streets that I have to redo to have it show on my one map. So of course I have to go back and do them. So I'm
being as autistic as you are. Yeah.
It's not autistic. It's being as
autistic.
Artistic.
Autistic.
No. OCD. A little OCD. I get that.
Autism is, isn't it?
But it makes that's not the same. There's similarities, but although autistic, you're not usually socially social. I know, but you and me, that's why
I'm fine. I can handle social stuff.
I don't love hanging out and being social. Sometimes I'm a bit of an introvert that way. But I can be out there and like I
don't mind. I either have to be the lead at a social event or a wallflower.
No,
not an in-betweener. I'm either sitting watching or I'm running the show. But I'm
sort of
a good participant.
No, I can participate. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of it. I rarely like to be the head of the show. I like to contribute to something.
No, all eyes on me.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily like that.
Okay. Well, we will let you go and we'll pop this thing up when we get her done.
Okay. Sounds good.
Be good?
Yes. Will do.
Talk to you.
See you next month. See you later.